Hello there, I'm Anne-Marie Powell and welcome to my front garden. Now I love this space, it's the place where I come to chill out underneath the rhododendron trees. And I think part of the atmosphere of why I love it so much here is because of this kind of small dish pond. So this is the water that reflects the sky, it reflects the clouds, and it just provides a little bit of light in what is essentially a semi-shady area. So this is a little wildlife habitat pond for me. I've already got some iris, and this is Louisiana iris, and it's called black gamecock, and it has the most glorious, deep, velvety purple blooms. So, but it needs a little bit more because we have lost a few plants over the winter period. So I've been shopping, and here, what have I got? Hello there, cat. First of all, evergreens. So I'm thinking about how to create a bit of structure in the border so that it doesn't look bereft throughout the winter time. So I've got here the corkscrew rush, and this is perfectly happy in semi-shade, and it's called Juncus effusus spiralis. So, and what I'll do is I'll just pop it in there because I want about half of the surface of this water covered, because that will cut down on things like blanket weed and algae. Now I've already got a few oxygenating plants in here, but some of these plants will actually help in keeping the pond water clearer. So here it goes. I'm just going to test a few of these out. So I will just put them, and I've got some rocks and stones and a little bit of gravel in here just to kind of keep things, you know, as they ought to be, straight upright. And I shall just pop them in. Now this one is an oxygenating plant, would you believe? And it is a fibre optic plant. It's called Scirpus cernus, and I think you can really see why. Now, my granny, when I was a girl, used to have a lamp on the bar in her sitting room, would you believe, that had what, you know, it looked just like this. So it reminds me of her, and it's got these teeny tiny little pips of flower on each and every single blade. So we'll pop that in there too. In it goes. Now, a little tip as we move on to the flowering plants. What I do like to do, and I haven't done it here just so you can see the difference, is I like to take the top of the pot of each aquatic basket off. And you can see that on this ranunculus, and this is ranunculus flammula, and all through the summer it will have delicious sort of yellow sunshine blooms which the pollinators adore. And if I take the rim off and I'll take the label out, you'll just see the difference. It just kind of means that the pot vanishes and you just see the foliage. And all I've done is I've snipped round the top of the aquatic basket. They must be aquatic baskets. They have holes going all the way around each wall of the pot to let the water in. And just taken the top off so it doesn't stick proud above the water. So a few more little plants that I would suggest are very good fun, particularly if you're in a semi-shady spot like this, is I have here, and this is the Chinese marsh flower, Mazis reptans, and you can see these glorious little lilac, almost orchid flowers. So, and they again are just adored by any kind of flying friends that we want to attract into our garden space. Now this, I'm taking a bit of a risk with this one. It perhaps would do for a larger pond, and this one is the water hawthorn, and it's Aponogeton distachius. Try saying that when you've had a glass of wine. And it does get quite large, but what I like about it is that in the spring and very soon it will produce these beautiful big white blossoms of bloom which have the most delicious of fragrance. So I'm going to take a risk, and if it gets too big, I can always hoik it out. So these plants are just going to be sort of scattered around within this water space. And the last one that we've got is Gratiola officinalis, the summer snowflake, which will be beautiful when it's in bloom. And they just go in. I'll take the rims off in a second when I've decided they're in the right position. And as I've gone in, I've just cleaned out any of the old leaves that are in the water, because we want to make sure that the nutrient level of this water is always low. And that's why you must always use aquatic compost. And I know some people suggest using garden soil, and that's fine, but nothing that's been fertilised, no compost that will float around and just raise those nutrient levels, because that's when you start getting problems. Now, one thing about mini ponds like this, and you might have a half barrel or any container that will hold water and won't rust, is it's all very well our friendly wildlife getting in, but you need to make sure that they've got a way of getting out. So we've got lots of cobbles that we stack up just at the rear of this water dish. So things that don't want to get in or want to get out have a way of helpfully exiting. And at the back, a couple of logs just to form a bridge out into the wider garden. So I'll get on with rearranging my little plants here, because I'm sure you've got tons of things that you want to be getting along with in the April garden.